compresses vertically. So vertically means it affects the y value. Okay, what does the p do, or the h? Yeah, horizontally, left or right, that affects the x. And what is my q, or sometimes called k? Up or down, that's vertically, so what does that affect? Y. Okay, so once we get into grade 12, we use what's called old point, new point. If I have the old point xy, and I said, what's the new point, and it's affecting with an A, a P, and a Q, what affects the X here? The A, the P, or the Q? The P. And so then my new point would be whatever my old X point is, and you're either adding P or subtracting P, depending what it is. So let's look, let's start this, and then I'll do the old point, new point on this first example. So note, always shift your graph last. I cannot say this enough. The left, right, up, down should be your last ultimate step. And just so you know, moving x before y doesn't affect each other. So it doesn't matter if you do your y's first, then your x, or your x's first, then your y's, okay? So it's saying stretch and reflect the graphs first. That's why I'm saying for bed mass, you do the multiply effect before addition or subtraction. Okay, so can anybody describe what happens here for first example? Y equals 2, x minus 2 squared plus 2. Well, there's a lot of 2's there. What does the first 2 do? It stretches it double, right? What does the second 2 do? Moves it right 2. What does the last 2 do? Moves it up 2. So if I had some generic x value, what would happen to the x value? It would be increased by 2. So my new point would be whatever your x is, add 2 to it. Yes? Don't worry if you don't get the old point, new point. I'm just trying to introduce this so next year or next semester when you take this, then it kind of makes sense. Okay, for your y value, remember that's the one that's getting stretched vertically. What happens to it stretched vertically? It gets doubled. So my y now becomes double y. And then it went up 2. So then we added 2. So the reason I'm showing you this also is so you can see the kind of the order of operations here. Okay, so we're going to start with our base graph. Let's graph our base graph. Remember that base graph? 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. And mirror it. Bada bing, bada boom. Done. Yes? Everybody's got that down. I'm going to even highlight the red dot, the 3 dots we're going to move, and then the rest correspond, just so you have that. Okay? So what's going to happen here? What's happening first? What's happening first? We're going to stretch it first. Okay, so the height of 0 gets doubled. What is it now? 0. If you double 0, it's still 0, right? Okay. Then we're going to go right to up to new point. Does everybody see the new point? I will repeat what just happened. This point 0, 0. The height, meaning the y value, got doubled. It's still 0. It didn't move. Then we are going to go right to, up to. Guess what happens if I go up to, right to? We get the same point. So do you see the up and the right? Doesn't matter the order. But you have to do the doubling first. Or the reflecting if there happens to be one. Okay, so now I'm at 1, 1. I'm going to double the height. So what am I at now? 2. Then I'm going to go right to, 1, 2, up to, 1, 2. Does everybody see my new point? I'll repeat. I'm starting at 1, 1. I have to double the height. Double. right to, 1, 2, up to, 1, 2, new point. Yes? Okay, this third red point, it's at a height of 4. I have to double that. What's my new height? 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I'm at 8. Does everybody see that? We're not going 8 up. We're doubling it to the height of 8. Does that make sense? And now I'm going to go right to, 1, 2, up to, 1, 2. There's my third point. What do I do after this? Mirror it. So this point is mirrored on this side. This point, because the axis of symmetry is 2 over from that, it would be over here. And then I complete my nice little graph. There we go. And does that green graph look stretched vertically? Yeah. Got narrower, right? Did it get shifted to the right and up? Yes. What is the equation of the quadratic function? Can anybody tell me? Y equals what? Y equals A. Then what? Brackets. X minus B squared plus Q. And you might see an H and K just in case you don't get confused. Okay, what does the P and the Q stand for? The X and the Y coordinates of the vertex. Yes. Okay, let's read the question now. Find the equation of the quadratic function whose vertex is 4, -7 and passes through the point 2, 9. Okay, so if I look at this equation, what information did the question give me? They're saying that P is 4 and Q is -7. What's the only thing left I need to get the equation of my quadratic function? A. I don't know what A is. But they give me some extra information here to figure it out. What do you think they gave me? A point. They're giving you some X and Y for some situation for you. So, because I don't know Y, I can now sub in this, 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 and this, and I have all the unknowns with a number except for A, and I can solve what A is. Does everybody see that? So, 9 equals A, my X is 2, my vertex P is 4, squared, plus -7, I'm just going to put -7. -7. Okay, I'll repeat. Does everybody see how I got all that? Yeah. Okay, I'll actually, on a side note, I'll ask this question on the test, and most people can get the equation as Y equals A, X minus 4 squared minus 7, and they just put that down, and it's like a 2-mark question. And so I would ask you, usually if it's 2 marks, it's not as easy as that. There's still something missing. So then a lot of people will just say, oh, there's no A in it, that's what it is. So then you get 1 out of 2 marks, I guess, if you don't know anything else, right? But at the very least, you should be able to sub in that. This is the problem. We don't know A. So that's why they're giving you that extra information to calculate it. So what would I do first here? Well, you could, but don't you want to simplify this stuff? So what's 2 minus 4? What's -2, the whole thing squared? 4. So 9 equals 4A subtract 7. Look familiar? Grade 9 probably did algebra like that, right? So now what I do? I add 7, I get 16 equals 4A. So what does A equal? 4. So guess what my equation is? Y equals 4, X minus 4 squared minus 7. Because this 4, now I know, goes there. I will guarantee I'm going to ask you that on the test. That was nice? Yes, tomorrow you'll have a quiz on this question. Good asking there, Anthony. Okay. Good asking. Okay, so let's actually figure it out here. Sometimes they give you just the graph, and you have to figure out the rest. And some of you probably could figure out A by using some logic here. But anyways, what's my vertex? What's my vertex there? 5, 0. So they're giving you your P and your Q. What else are they giving you? They're giving you 2 other points. Just pick one. Let's use that one. What's that coordinate? 4, -2. Okay, so now we're going to plug it into y equals a x minus p squared plus q. Yes? My y is what? Remember, this is my x and my y. Oh, okay, so Jessica already said, I know it's negative because it's opening down. So make sure when you solve your a, you better get a negative a, right? Or it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things here we can use from our prior knowledge that we can figure out if our answer makes sense. So does everybody see this is my x and my y? I get -2 equals a. My x is 4. My p is 5. So 4 subtract 5 squared plus 0. I'm going to put plus 0 just so you guys know what I did there. What do I do first? 4 minus 5. I get -1. -1 squared is, so -2 equals a. All the rest kind of wipe away, yeah? So what's my equation? Y equals -2 x minus 5 squared. Do I need to put plus 0? No. So then you might say, well, why did you pick 4, -2 and not 6, -2? It doesn't matter. I'll get the same answer. Watch. Why are you guys laughing? -2 equals a 6 minus 5 squared plus 0. What do I get there? Can everybody see I'm going to get -2? Yeah, look at that. Now, did anybody actually find what A is by looking at the graph? Let's use some common sense here about our stretches and stuff. Normally, our graph would go from the vertex and it would go from 0, 0. Pretend this is at 0, 0. It would go to 1, 1. So first off, it's opening down, so I know it's negative. But instead of going 1, 1, it went 1, 2. It must have got doubled, right? Yeah. No, but I'm going to make sure that I have one that's a little bit more interesting. Like this one. You can't really tell where it goes for the 1, right? So now you actually have to use the algebra. So let's try B, okay? Okay, I'm going to use 5, 0 for my x and my y, and 2, -6 for my PQ. 0 equals a, maybe I'll write it up here, y equals a x minus p squared plus q, just so I know what you're doing. So 0 is my y, a I don't know, x is my 5, p is my 2, so subtract 2 squared, and then subtract 6. Simplify the middle, so 0 equals, what's 5 minus 2? 3, what's 3 squared? 9, 9a minus 6, move the 6 over, 6 equals 9a, divide by 9, I get 6 over 9, which is 2/3. Y equals 2/3 x minus 2 squared, subtract 6. Is that what you got? Yeah. Right on. Okay, let's keep going. Find that one. Find example 4. Okay, so it should make sense to you. You should get a positive a, and it should also make sense to you. This is wider, so I should get a fraction. So 0, 0 is my vertex PQ, and I'm going to pick 2, 2 for my XY. So y equals a x minus p squared plus q. 2 equals a 2 minus 0 squared plus 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So 2 equals 4a because this 0 doesn't do anything. So a equals 2 divided by 4, which is 1/2. So y equals, I saw a bunch of people putting zeros in, which you wouldn't lose marks if you did that, but really this 0 doesn't mean anything, this 0 doesn't mean anything, so really your equation is 1/2 x squared. Does everybody see that? That's okay. X in brackets is the same thing as x squared, right? It doesn't do anything. That's fine. You won't lose any marks. Okay, so the next one is, suppose the parabola is reflected about the x-axis. Write the quadratic function in the new form. So they're saying this now gets reflected. What would my new equation be? Oh, you guys are brilliant. Okay, now the same one, we're going back to a, sorry, y equals x squared, 1/2 x squared, sorry. Now it got translated 6 units left. What would my new equation be? 6 units left. Y equals 1/2. Is it in brackets? Yeah, x plus 6 squared. Very good. Very good. Suppose the parabola in the graph is translated 3 units down. So we're going back to y equals 1/2 x squared. So what is the new one going to be? Alex? Bada bing, bada boom. We got it. Right on.